Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Hey everybody, today we have Ashley from On Wednesdays, We Talk Weird. Before I give you the floor and let you kind of talk about your pod and everything, I do want to go ahead. I know I have a disclaimer in the intro. I might change it. If not, I'm going to put an extra disclaimer here. On top of the foul language, things might get a little raunchy. Just bear with it and suck it up. So if you're not down for any innuendos, I was going to say there's the door, but there's the stop button. If you got little kids in the room or anywhere in the vicinity, hit the stop button, come back later, preferably. Okay, that being said, you want to take a minute and let everybody know kind of, what your pod's about or anything that you got going on where they can find you, a little promo section.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ashley Hilt. I'm a Fortean investigator. I know that about 80% of you probably doesn't know what that means, but that's okay. That means that I study cryptozoology and ufology and the paranormal and the occult. I've been doing field research and investigative work for about almost 5 years now. Turns out nobody pays you for that. So I had to turn to content creation, and I have a fantastic podcast called On Wednesdays, We Talk Weird, where we cover everything every Wednesday. You can find it basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. And it also comes with a disclaimer. It's not for your children to listen to. It is for you and maybe your partner at the same time for sexy reasons. But yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, it's like a new version of foreplay.
It is. Yes, it is. Yeah, turn on Wednesdays We Talk Weird to get yourself into the mood. No, in all seriousness, it is a comedy-based show, but the facts are legitimate. I am a skeptical believer in my research, so anything that you hear on there is very well researched. We try to deliver the facts or as close to the facts as we can get. I co-host the show with my host, Tobias Whalen and Kenzie Gleason. So check that out.
Let me guess. You release on Mondays?
Yeah. And Sundays sometimes.
Well, I was just laughing because you said on Wednesdays we talk weird, and I was like,
it comes out every Wednesday. It comes out every Wednesday. But you don't have to listen to it on Wednesdays. You can listen to it. Well, we have about 200 episodes now, so at this point, 5 days or 5 days a week, 7 days a week, if you'd like.
Hey,
that's fine.
You heard the lady. Go binge listen.
Go listen to it.
And later, I'll get the links from you, and I'll put them in the description of the podcast as well, so that way everybody can find you easily. And whenever I post the episodes, I kind of tag you galore. So just be prepared to get like a shit ton of notifications.
Oh yeah, please do.
When it comes out. So,
yeah.
Okay. And given my disclaimer earlier, I have to giggle because today we're talking about the Goatman.
Oh gosh.
Which is really weird to pair my sexual innuendos. I just want to make sure I cover all my bases just in case.
It's not that I mean, there's definitely a tie there. So
we'll go ahead and dive in here and see how it goes.
Sure.
In 1970, researchers at Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, dear God, that's a lot to say, in Western Maryland were conducting empirical experiments on some goats when something went catastrophically wrong. There was an accident at the facility that somehow supposedly turned one of the researchers into a hideous beast appearing to have the lower half of a human and the upper half of a goat. And all I'm thinking of is, what's that? Okay, it's a cartoon, Monsters vs. Aliens.
Okay.
And you had the scientist that was working with flies, which I think is actually like a normal adult movie that does something like this. But the guy somehow, the experiment goes awry and he comes out and he's got like a fly head now.
Yeah, that's the fly.
Yeah, he's a scientist, but he's just got a fly head. Of course, I would take the kitty version of it, but whatever. And that's all I'm thinking of. So it's like, what type of experiments are these fuckers doing that could possibly give you man legs and a goat top?
That seems to be like the most, like the least efficient, right? Wouldn't you rather have like the goat bottom and the human top?
Well, it just says half. So like, where is half? Is it like belly button up? Is it
Hmm.
like hips? Is it rib cage? Does he have like little goat arms, or does he just have a goat head?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? The arms, right? So like you'd want to have human arms and not like
Oh my
poof
gosh.
hands
Yeah, I mean, imagine trying to like
do
unlock a
anything.
door and get in the door.
Right, you couldn't leave. So how it broke out to begin with, I don't know.
What caused it? Were they trying to like stick the two together? And maybe they were. Maybe they took like the top half of both, tried to put them both together, and the bottom goat and the top person didn't make it, but the top goat and the bottom person did.
Um,
Because they were
I
doing some
yeah. I
jacked up
mean,
shit like back in like what World War II era Germany. Scientists were doing all kinds of heinous things.
sure. Sure, they were. I am of the camp. If I'm going to be not silly and real for a second, I'm of the camp that we have not perfected human animal hybrids. So to me, this automatically, I'm like, I don't think that's where he came from. But we've tried it. We have tried it a lot actually. There's like I believe it's a Russian experiment that was yeah, and she was, trying to I believe it was a woman, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, the whole team was trying to have like a chimpanzee human hybrid
Yes.
baby. And even though they were able to successfully impregnate a female chimpanzee, they were never able to get it past any type of real stage for it to be viable. So we've never been able to successfully do it, and that's just the differences in our chromosomes and our general makeup. Um,
Now, so see, when I think of it from a different German experiment. And I somewhere between this is gonna be like really bad because like it's a big gap, but somewhere between I think like the 30s and the 50s or 60s, they actually took two, I think they were chimpanzees, and they beheaded them,
yep, I already know what you're talking about.
swapped the heads, reattached it, and that
Mhm.
motherfucker lived for like a month
Yeah,
or
it
something
was
stupid.
the
See,
same the same
that's what
guy
I
who was
think
doing
of.
he was doing it with dogs,
Yeah, well, he was
and
attaching extra heads to the dogs too.
extra heads of the dogs, and those heads would live at least for
Yeah,
a minute. They'd live for a while,
yeah, like
and
a couple weeks or something, I think is what I saw for one of the dog ones that they
oh yeah.
did.
And there's like video of it, and it's horrifying. But
Yep.
they did it with chimpanzees. They did a human, well, not a human head, but a head transplant. And there was talk back in, I believe it was 2017. It might have been a little bit earlier of us potentially conducting a human head transplant, where you had there was paraplegics, right, taking their head and putting it on a cadaver's body to see if it worked. And they actually got approval to do so. I think it was in China,
Whoa.
but there was a guy who initially had volunteered, and then and then it just never came to be. I don't know if he pulled his consent or
I feel like you
if
would want something already living.
he passed. Well, I mean, but you can't just like behead people that are alive and like steal their body, you know?
But I'm just thinking, like, I wouldn't want like somebody that's like, oh, this one's been in the morgue for a week.
They're probably freshly dead. It's
Oh,
like when you
okay.
do like organ donation, when you're an organ donor and like you're hooked up to machinery and stuff, even though they pronounce you
They
dead at like a
could
certain
keep you
time,
alive.
they keep you alive for a little while they take those organs out so that way they
Ugh.
can successfully be transported. It's really gruesome.
That's why I'm not an organ donor. That I don't have much left in here. But yeah, that's what I think of when I think of combining and doing the hybrid thing. I don't think of it as much of a like a breeding standpoint. I think of it more of like a Frankenstein, I guess, kind of standpoint, which would make sense in this scenario to end up with what they ended up with.
Right. So if the goat top half, if it's a goat top and a human bottom, then that would mean that the goat brain would be in control of the whole thing, right?
Ooh, that's a good point. Well, unless it is like a situation with the fly guy, because he still had the person brain.
He did. True, but he did eventually become a fly monster.
Oh, see,
It was like
I've not,
a
I've
slow
not seen it.
progression.
Well, so much for that theory.
You should watch it. It's got sexy Jeff Goldblum in it, and I mean, really, he's hot in the Fly
Who's
movie.
that?
Jeff Goldblum. You know who Jeff Goldblum is?
I really am not good with names. What else is he in?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, like the first one?
Yeah, like he's
Wait,
the
is
dark
he
haired guy
the
with the shirt open, the
Life
sexy
Finds?
guy.
Oh, ew, no,
Oh, really? No.
no,
Mm.
no,
More
not
Jeff
doing it for
Goldblum for
me.
me. That's
Yeah, you could have all you want. That's not my cup of tea for sure. Ugh, I don't know, it's just weird. I see, and I think of him more of like when he was on Law and Order.
I didn't know he was on Law and Order, but I guess everybody does Law and Order at some point. So
I really liked him in Law and Order. He was pretty good.
is he a bad guy?
He's a very
I
like psychologically based theory type cop. Scientist that morphed into the odd sensation that he was, that was working with these poor little gullible goats, was then said to aggressively attack the nearby vehicles and even his co-workers before just ditching and just bailing into the woods. I mean, just takes off.
yeah.
And that is just one of the many origin stories of the Goatman.
Oh yeah.
Then there's encounters in Maryland that led to the following description of the monster on top of just the, half and half that we got. In most of these, they do say again, well, actually, these ones are backwards. So it's the lower body of a goat, the upper body of a man, horns growing out of his head, and he stands between 6 to 8 feet, which is 1.8 to 2.4 meters tall. And what I think is funny is it says that he produces a high pitched squeal.
Okay. Like a pig?
That's what I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking this 6 to 8 foot tall man goat, I would not expect a high pitched squeal. I would expect something a little more deep and like guttural.
With a little baby voice.
Yeah, it's like a baby goat. Oh my gosh. What if it got mixed with a fainting goat?
That would be some shit. They'd be
Oh my God,
easier to catch.
that'd be hysterical. Like this big thing just rampaging, and then you just walk up and you're like, "Excuse me," and it's like, and it falls over. They're like, wow,
Okay.
they got SWAT waiting in the sidelines, snipers on the roofs, and then all you have to do is poke it on the shoulder and it faints. Like, well, that was anticlimactic. But they do say he's also very hard to miss because he just reeks to high heavens.
Yeah.
And they also say that he kind of is known for his weapon of choice, which is an axe.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is he getting the axe?
That's a question that I always ask in the Goatman lore. I'm constantly curious about
Oh,
like
wait,
what.
I have an idea.
Okay.
It's Maryland.
Okay.
Thing says that he just takes off randomly in the woods. It's Western Maryland. It's probably wooded in some capacity. People, I'm assuming, they might have a hunting cabin or just a recreational cabin up in the woods somewhere that they might have to split wood for the furnace for the heat and everything while they're using it. And maybe they might not think to lock up their axes, because they're out in no man's land. Or maybe they just forgot and they just got it leaned up against the shed or something. So that way they could just chop wood efficiently. And maybe he just stumbled across it and was like, I need something and this will do.
Yeah, but then what happens when it breaks? I mean, ultimately, the axes break. He just steals another one.
Maybe.
So
I'm
he's
just,
he's
some of
into
them,
petty
they can
crime.
withstand a lot. Yeah. Doing
That's
a little
fine.
beanie.
Yeah.
I wonder where he sleeps.
Well, outside he's a goat. They sleep outside.
With that description in mind, there's another legend that states that the creature was not created by men conducting experiments, but was simply a cryptid with a more human-like top half minus the horns and the legs of a goat, kind of like the fawns of mythology, like Phil from Hercules.
Interesting.
Not threatening, in my opinion.
No.
But then leads me to, does that mean he's got a goat pecker?
Well,
At
probably.
what point do you get which is which? You know what I'm saying?
Like he still has a little pecker pouch, but it's a human penis that comes out of it.
Goat balls and a human pecker. Oh my God.
Yeah. Why not?
Or like, what if the division is like in a weird spot and you end up with both?
I never thought that I would do this, but here I am on this day of our Lord, Wednesday, and I'm Googling goat penis
Yeah, oh yeah, what
because
does it look like?
I've never even, oh, they're so small.
It at least it's not, well, that's what she said. At least it's not
Mm,
like a cat or whatever. I think it's a cat that like the male is like a corkscrew.
There's a statue. Okay.
Oh
Google,
my God.
if you Google goat penis, there's a statue that comes up on Google Images, and it is two goats that are standing up on hind legs. They're making out, and they
What?
both have erect human penises.
Well, oh, I think I need to turn on my safe search here. Let me turn on my safe search, incognito.
Why? I mean, they both have human penises, but they're like complete
That
goat.
one goat looks like a female goat. It doesn't have horns, does it?
Anyway,
But
I just was curious. I'd never seen it. So as far as what type of penis the goat man has, I would hope that it's human
you
compared
see
to
how
the
long
goat.
those fuckers get? Anyway, next theory.
Don't have sex with goats. I'll just say that
Yeah. Oh
up
God,
front.
please don't. Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. I mean, usually I wouldn't yuck your yum. I'm yucking that
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
no, thank you.
But another theory that they have is that the goat man is more like a Bigfoot-esque kind of creature, where it's virtually a goat that I'm assuming has human hands and I don't know what's going on with the feet, but it's like hairy all over. It's got the horns, it's got the goat head. It's just bipedal as opposed to quadruped.
Yeah, it's an anthropomorphic goat.
Yeah.
So I would agree. When I think of goat man, that's the image that I get, right? It looks like a goat, however, it is standing on two legs. I imagine that its feet are hooves, but it does have hands.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm
Um,
thinking.
and it's just huge, right? And it's got big old horns. And like that's how you would know seeing one of those compared to a Bigfoot, Bigfoot with horns, I guess, is more and
Yeah.
hooves. Yeah.
And in a longer face or like a
Yeah.
more protruding face.
Yeah.
But another thing that put into consideration is an evil spirit from Native American lore that's referred to as an Okie, which, from what I've gathered, is kind of like a pissed off goat herder seeking revenge on teens who killed the goats that he loved.
I don't want to think about the goats that this man
We'll
loved.
we'll get more into this. Okay, so they say there was actually a goat farmer,
Mhm.
and what happened was, which put it in sense of, say you're a person working at the dog shelter.
Sure.
You love the dogs, you take care of the dogs are like family. Okay, so he loves the goats, but then he just straight up massacres a bunch of teens after getting evidence that they, I guess for prank purposes,
Hmm.
just thought it'd be funny to kill his goats. I don't really understand that one, but I
I
mean, I've
mean,
tipped cows, but I've never killed a goat.
yeah, I've not tipped cows, and that's surprising considering I live in Ohio. Yeah, I imagine that's popular here.
Well,
Um, you know,
I don't know a lot of people that have done it. We just wanted to see if it worked.
did it work?
It worked.
It died? Is that what's supposed to happen?
No,
They
no.
die?
You tip the cows sleep standing up.
Okay.
So you wait for them to sleep, and then you push them off the side, and because they're asleep, they just kind of like a fainting goat. They just fall over. However, make sure the bull is not out
Yeah,
when
he'll
you do
fuck your
this.
shit up.
Yeah, he will, and they run fast.
Yeah. So, I agree. I've never thought about the going and killing anybody's goat. So he is taking, so he's a goat farmer. The teens come and kill his goat, maybe for whatever reason, prank,
Like,
whatever.
well, maybe if they were something, if they were like pigs or cows, you could like kill them and then like take them home and eat them. I would understand.
Yeah, goat farming. Actually, when we did our own Goatman episode over on my show, I was curious, what the fuck do people farm goats for? What do
All
they do?
kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Milk.
apparently
You
milk
can
is
make
like the
soap.
most. Yeah, apparently the dairy products are a great cash cow, like cash goat
Hmm.
in this case. And so I had to look that up. So you typically wouldn't slaughter a goat to eat it.
I ate a goat. That fucker had it coming. Okay, it's a really funny story. All right. We had a family friend. So my family is friends with this family, and like we all kind of paired up. There's each a kid basically the same age as the other kid. It just kind of worked out. Our parents were friends. We just did everything. I mean, we'd spend Easters and Christmas and everything together. And I don't remember. I think it was Easter one year, and they had this goat, and I'm talking goat, big horns, motherfucker was huge. And I had my toddling toddler that was not walking very gracefully. So we were at the Easter thing, and their goat was notorious for getting out. So my son was maybe 18 months, 2 years old, just not sturdy on his feet. And he was just kind of running around, having a blast. This fucking goat gets out. And that motherfucker looks right at my kid and starts charging.
Okay.
Of course, me being me, I push my kid back, and right as soon, he almost clocked my kid full speed. Like, I had a hold of both his horns, and he was like, it was kind of, wet out. I was sliding. He was pushing me, and I was pushing with like everything I had, and he just kept sliding me backwards. And so eventually, I'd back up and I'd slam his horns down and get him to put his feet up. I'd smack him down, and it took us like half an hour of me fighting this goat to get him back in the fence where he needed to be. I mean, it was just like this. And the next year we ate that motherfucker, and it was the best tacos I've ever had. Vengeance tacos.
Vengeance tacos are delicious. Even
Like,
if
don't
they're
mess with
made
my
of goat.
kid. I will eat you. So there's that one. As far as the Goatman's concerned, though, reaches from about Beltsville to Bowie and to Mitchellville in Upper Marlboro. I don't know exactly where those are. To have a map posted somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it. His most active time period, according to the legends, was between the 50s and the 70s. And supposedly you can hear him yelling, squealing, and making, obvious goat noises just kind of out and about. And can you imagine? You're just taking a jolly little jaunt through the woods, and all of a sudden you hear like these weird yelling goat noises.
It starts off really quiet at first. It's like, meh. Like, what the fuck? Was that a goat? And then it just gets louder and louder.
And then it's just like yelling. Is it actually vocalizing words?
It's like, meh.
Help me!
No,
Move,
it's like, fuck
bitch!
off. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, wait, you gotta do it with the goat sound. Fuck off. Oh geez. That was good. We're gonna leave all that in.
Like somebody drowning. But yeah, I mean, why not?
I got a kick out of that. But his first reported appearance took place in 1957 when people reported witnessing a giant hairy monster in Forestville and Upper Marlboro. One rumor was that the Goatman was responsible for many canine deaths around the surrounding areas, and people's pets would just disappear and they blamed the Goatman. I'm not really sure. A local paper even wrote that a dog had been found decapitated, and members of the community, one family's teenage daughter mentioned that she heard weird noises and saw a large creature around the property on the night that their poor little pupper named Ginger had just mysteriously disappeared. And the head of the dearly beloved house pet was said to have been found 14 years later. Of course, by then, I'm not really sure how they knew it was Ginger's head.
Right.
But that's what they say. And he's commonly known for showing up on the road, wielding an axe, killing teens, and eating doggos.
That's his calling card.
Why doesn't he eat the teens?
They don't taste very good.
Well, you don't know that. The younger, the better, right? Venison? Oh, man, I just pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Well, we don't even know if he's eating the dogs. Like,
that's true. They do disappear. But I mean, what else would you do with them? I mean, he's got to have sustenance, right?
They're his pets. He's got a dog colony.
But then what is he eating? And how do you explain the decapitated Ginger? Oh my God, I could be a decapitated Ginger.
Yeah. He eats redheads.
Yeah,
that's why that one was decapitated.
These ones taste better. They don't have souls.
Yeah. Souls make them too chewy. No,
Ugh,
I
like
don't
the
know. That's a good
gristle.
question. But like goats don't eat meat. So foliage,
But people do.
people, yeah, they do. They don't have to. Humans don't have to eat meat. They have to eat protein, but we don't have teeth like carnivores do. So are we saying that he has
I don't know. I
carnivorous
was just
teeth?
thinking, okay, so literally you read my mind because that's exactly what I was picturing. I'm like, does he have pointy teeth?
Right. Has he got, I mean, or are they flat like a goat would be, what it depends on what depiction of the goat man that you are subscribing to. Like,
Ah,
first
true.
of all,
If
if
it's
he's
the
if he's got a human top, he's gonna have human teeth,
yeah,
but if he has a goat top, then he's gonna have goat teeth. And if he's just a weird fucking hybrid of both, he could have either or.
maybe he goes through cycles where like he eats leaves and shit for a couple weeks and then he eats meat for a couple weeks and then he eats like he's battling it out psychologically. There's two, there's the goat, there's the man, and they're just battling it out.
The two the two wolves inside of you, the two species inside of
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Like Bigfoot, I guess some people, suspect that Bigfoot, eats both, right? Meat
Yeah,
and foliage and, veggies and things like that. I think he's just killing people to be an asshole.
probably.
Yeah.
I
I
get it.
mean, the Maryland one didn't really, I mean, he doesn't really have so again, it depends on what Goatman you're talking about. You've got the Maryland Goatman, you've got the Pope Lick Monster in Kentucky, and then you've got I think it's Alton, Texas, I believe,
Yeah.
has
I
their
think
Goatman.
Texas, we get into Texas here in a minute.
Okay, yeah. And so, I mean, depending on which one you're looking at, different goatmen have different degrees of like victims. So, like the Maryland guy, he's really just like targeting pets. And then the public monster, people say is more of like probably a spiritual thing because he possesses people to get hit by a train. And then I don't really know too much about the Texas one, and I'm not going to get into it because you're getting ready to get into it. So
Yeah, we
I'll
just got
let
a little
you
bit
do
left of our little Maryland fella before we move on.
it. Sure.
But they do say that, the Maryland goat man lurks around a bridge in Bowie, known as the Crybaby Bridge, which is also referred to as the Governor's Bridge or, well, Goatman Bridge.
Mhm.
This particular bridge is a single lane bridge in Prince George County. According to lore, if you park under the bridge after dusk, you may experience hearing the screams of a crying baby or the sound of a goat. I'm not sure how threatened I would feel hearing random goat, but I definitely can't stand the sound of a baby crying. They say you may even see the goat man himself, but he's also known for jumping on cars and attacking drivers, so beware. And it is also rumored that he will deflate the tires of the vehicle so the victims cannot escape and then drag the occupants of the vehicle into the woods with him.
Well, that's what I'm
Though it does
saying.
not say what he does with it.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, instilling the fear. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna pop your tire. Wait, how's he popping the tires?
With his axe.
That's a little excessive.
It is,
You got a little
but
smart car and you got like this big ass axe. Well, maybe he's got like a backup hatchet or something.
he just has a switchblade.
Like my sound effects. I really got to get my own sound effects board.
I mean, it was really no, you don't. You're doing just fine with it. Because I mean, right? It was popular back in the 1950s. This
Yeah,
legend
the
of
little like yeah.
switchblade makes sense.
Or he
Yeah,
pulls the wrong one out of his pocket. He fucking pulls it out, whips it out. It's a fucking comb. He's like, damn it. And he's like searching his pockets. Fuck.
I like this idea of the greaser goat man.
With a little hairdo.
Yeah, this leather
Oh my
jacket.
gosh,
Yeah,
Greaser. Oh my gosh, I have got to make this. Okay, t-shirt idea,
yeah.
Greaser
Please,
Goatman. Okay,
please. Yeah.
I'll try to figure out if I can make that happen. Um, ugh. The lore then grew to include him attacking the horny teenagers in the local lovers' lanes. I'm not sure that I would be necking up at Lover's Lane if this fucker was like walking around with an axe, like jumping on the hood of my car. Like he's like a fucking peeper.
Yeah, he's a peeping tom. He's
Yeah.
he's a cuck. I mean, I feel like every time there's a lover's lane, there has to be a monster assigned to it. So like
Yeah, of
Um,
course there is. I've never
through the
seen one.
thin veil. Me neither, and I've been to plenty. But
The guy with the hook hand or whatever.
I
The
always
hash
hope.
slinging slasher.
Yeah, that's yeah. I always hope. I'm like, there's gonna be a monster out here.
I mean, I think some people used to put like animal heads on as like ceremonies and do it. So
But that's different. You can kind of do that now as,
would that
an
make him a
adult.
furry?
Yes. Well, no, maybe. I don't know because he's not
How does
dressed
that
like
work?
one. So it would be, without a doubt, listen, without a
Like
doubt,
I
it
didn't
would
I didn't
be
I didn't choose the
bestiality.
furry life. The furry life chose me.
I think it only crosses the line into furryism if you are dressed up like a goat person also.
Really?
Yeah, because like I
What
said,
if you're not into being dressed up like it? You just want to fuck someone else that looks like it.
so if you just want to fuck a furry and not actually be a
Yeah.
furry,
Yeah.
hmm, I
I mean,
don't
it's
know.
all fun and games till you put a tail up your ass, and then it's kind of, questionable.
And then it's all fun. Fun fact, we had a furry on our show and
Oh,
talking
that's
about
awesome.
furries. Yep, on Wednesdays we talk weird. So there is an episode that we did on furries.
That is
And
awesome.
we asked the hard questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
But
the other version of the Goat Man is involving the historical old Alton Bridge in Denton, Texas. And the old Alton Bridge links the gap between the city of Denton and Copper Canyon. For anyone interested, this location is only about a half an hour away. Oh, no, about an hour away from Dallas, in case you want to go visit it. It's composed of trusses, and this style is easily identified by the connected elements forming triangular sections. Apparently, I went a little architect in my notes there. Um, but because the bridge was constructed initially to only support horses, the single lane concept proved to be slightly inconvenient once automobiles came into the picture. Since only, one at a time could fit on the bridge, the tradition of having to sound the horn before crossing to make sure other vehicles, don't get stuck and you don't have an accident. But later they built a bridge adjacent to it that could handle the more modern methods of transportation. And this made the Goatman's Bridge a more popular destination for hikers, bird watchers, photographers. The list goes on. It even earned a position on the National Register of Historic Places, which I thought was.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, are people is the bridge in use now? Is it like a car bridge or
Yes
like
and
a
no.
train?
As far as I know, they built the adjacent bridge to
Mm.
allow vehicles, and then they kind of turned the other one into a hiker, almost like you would see a bridge. Oh, I totally forgot about that.
So it's like a hike, it's like a walking trail. It's like
Yes,
included in like a walking trail. Gotcha.
yes. But the Texas Goat Man is rumored to have once been a normal man named Jack, and again, Jack was a farmer who absolutely adored his flock of goats or herd of goats. It's a flock. It's a herd. Herd of goats. Jesus. Flock of goats. Fuck me. Then one afternoon, some men paid Jack and his goats a visit. The following night, deputies went looking for Jack, but he was nowhere in sight. A couple weeks later, people started reporting strange noises and sensing a horrible smell coming out from under the bridge. After a multitude of complaints, deputies went to investigate and they were stunned at what they found. They suddenly turned to see a very large creature with glowing red eyes holding Jack's lifeless body and the head of his most prized goat.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure what happened to the rest of them.
So, okay, hold on. So the creature that's holding him is not a goat man or is a goat man.
Well, the next thing is describing it. So
Okay,
let's describe it, then we'll come back.
sure.
The goat man in this particular location is described as standing about 8 feet tall, which is about 2.5 meters, the chest and arms of a human with the bottom half of a hooved goat. Its head is reportedly like that of a goat with large curled horns and ominous glowing eyes. The fur has been described as either a deep, fiery red color or such a dark black that it seemingly disappears along the edges of the trees. And he is thought to be able to jump long distances and extremely high. This is like a different type. So this is saying goat legs, human torso and arms, but a goat head with
What a go
horns.
ahead, yeah. So that to me that describes like the bipedal, like the anthropomorphic Bigfoot type goat man.
Yes.
I would imagine his torso isn't like, just skin, right? I mean, but he's got
Well,
like
I mean, that's
hands.
that's all it says. Just a chest and arms of a human.
He's got
Oh my gosh,
titties.
like Arnold. He can like pump his pecs. Hey,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. Why not?
And then I'm still picturing the greaser, greaser goat man. Oh, geez,
I like the greaser goat man.
that's gonna have to be a thing. I've got to figure out how to do that.
Okay, so he is obviously some type of, well, goat man, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
What
Is the
gets me
legend
is the ominous glowing red eyes. That seems less cryptid or physical thing and more of a like demonic, oh shit, Satan in the flesh type scenario.
Oh yeah, definitely. I also find it interesting that he is either a ginger or super black.
Right. I was like, that's totally different. Trust me. It's funny. Ginger, obviously, naturally, I'm ginger, and I would dye my hair black, and it is very different.
It is. Right, it is. So, that is like I said, I've never heard of a ginger goat man besides this. This is the first
Yeah.
time I've come across this.
What if
Interesting.
there's more than one and they just are describing it as one, but it's multiple accounts, and one sees a red one and one sees a black one?
Well, true. I mean, has anybody ever seen this thing shift colors?
I don't know. I mean, not that I can think of.
So then therefore there could be more than one.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
which goes back to like the lore of it, which if I, are they like implying that Jack turned into a goat man or was turned into a goat man or
Well, because see, that's what's interesting because they said that he's holding his lifeless body
right?
and the head of his favorite goat.
Yeah, why?
If the creature, it can't be that Jack is the creature because then where the fuck is Jack's head? How do they know it's Jack?
Well, I'm assuming Jack's head is attached to his body. Wait, so no, hold on. So, right, the creature, which we don't know yet, is the goat man or not. It doesn't sound like there's a description besides a giant creature.
Yeah.
So, like, it could be Bigfoot, oh, or whatever, holding this guy. And so he's holding Jack's lifeless body.
It's holding Jack's lifeless body and the head of his most prized goat. I'm assuming body in one, head in the other.
Right, goat head in the other. So we're assuming Jack's head is still attached to his body.
No, because well, no, you know what? You're right. I
It
guess
doesn't
I
say
just
he's
in
decapitated.
my head, his head was gone.
You picture that
So
his head is
no,
gone.
I guess his head is still there.
I mean, it could be, right? Jack's been decapitated and Jack's favorite goat's head is now on his body.
What
No,
if
I
the
thought
creature is something demonic or something and it created the goat man
it
from
could have.
random parts of the whole herd and the shepherd?
Like it is Satan and he has pieced
Yeah.
together this goat man amalgamation.
Yeah.
That could very well be.
The lore for this one states that if you park at Goatman's Bridge, turn off all the lights, and honk your horn 3 times, the Goatman himself will appear. Any pets manage to escape their property and roam towards the bridge, they go missing, and the Goatman is to blame, saying that he would catch and eat them. Not only may you see the demonic entity, it is said that simply crossing the bridge at specific times will open a portal to hell itself. Can I peek in that little hole, see what it's like?
Right, what's in there?
As long as that was one that like sucks you in like a black hole and you can't get out, then no go. I don't want to see it. But witnessing this monster is said to be followed by a multitude of mysterious missing persons in the same time following the sighting. So you see the monster, you get away, but then you fucking vanish, which is super creepy. Maybe it comes and gets them.
Yeah, or it
Like
lures you
they tell
back
somebody
into
about
it.
it, and he's like, "Oh shit, they're gonna know," and so he goes and he like snags them, but he doesn't know that they've already told people, so it's defeating the purpose.
It's a little too late.
Yeah,
But he's
I
already
gotta get.
committed to the bit, so
Yeah, I mean, I might as well. Some people think that he lies dormant for potential numbers of years at a time,
hmm.
only rising to hunt, feed, and go back into dormancy. His place of slumber, which we were talking about earlier, is believed to be under the old Alton Bridge. which small animals missing, people missing, thing that hibernates. Kind of sounds like a bear.
Are there bears in Texas?
Oh, hey, Texas people, do you have bears?
Right.
Rumor also says that if you say his name while crossing the bridge, you will summon the beast. If this occurs at night, he will come out to hunt and go back into his den to sleep when his name is mentioned, once more. So it's like he doesn't come in and out on his own. He only comes if you summon him kind of situation.
How does he know that his name is Goatman?
Well, I guess it doesn't specify what name.
Well, right. Is it Jack? Is that enough? I mean, or
Oh my God, imagine being over here. You got a little kid and your little kid takes off and you lost him. You're like, Jack, Jack, where are you, Jack? You rang.
it comes like a barreling at you. You're just like, what is happening? I don't
Like,
know.
I'm just looking for my kid.
Sorry.
Have you seen him?
My Midwestern self, I'd be like, oh, sorry.
Too, as they say, if it occurs during the day, he gets thoroughly pissed off because the disruption of his typical sleep cycle and becomes even more aggressive. So, same,
Same. Yeah,
wake me
big
up.
same.
Legend goes that if you cross the bridge at 3 a.m., you may experience visions of fire and brimstone since the portal to hell will be open. They also say the goat man is not alone at this location, but is accompanied by a young lady who wails and cries at the center of the bridge. The story states that many years ago, the goat man stole the woman's child. When she became aware of the sinister crime, she visited the bridge and threw herself over the edge, falling to her doom. And her ghost now haunts the bridge ever since. So you have a ghost bitch and a goat man.
He seems to like make friend like because okay, so like the Maryland one, he's got a baby with him, right?
Well, they just call it you hear baby crying. But then again, there's a lot of animals that will make that sound to lure things in.
Yeah.
Like I think it's wild cats in particular, like maybe a cougar or something.
Mhm.
They sound like babies crying. And they also have a bunch of other mythical or lore that I'm going to cover, I'm sure, at some point that intentionally make the sound of crying children to lure people into the woods so that they can then attack them and probably eat them.
Yeah, I will say notoriously there are no cougars in the eastern part of the United States, allegedly.
Oh, there might be. How old you got to be a cougar? You get look out, young
Could
men.
differ, yeah.
See, I like them silver foxes, so
That's true.
clearly
You're like a reverse cougar.
I am. You go from kitten to cougar. Got a woman down in Texas. Southern Belle.
Yeah.
But another ominous report dates back to 1962. And the story goes that the goat man killed 14 hikers. A few survivors reported that the goat man brutally dismembered his victims while making weird noises. And each time the authorities would go to investigate the scenes, they would be horrified when they stumbled across lifeless and decapitated bodies strewn around the floor. Well, the ground floor. One account said that these 14 victims were 2 adults, 12 children, and they were actually out for a hike. And I thought I saw somewhere where it was like 2 church members and their gaggle of children that were just out on a walk and stumbled across something, and they were all basically just slaughtered.
Wow.
Which, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a bear. It could be whatever is out there. I'm sure there's something, or maybe just some fucked up dude. The last little bit I have is that this horned hybrid monstrosity has been reported in Louisiana, Texas, Maryland, Kentucky, and a lot more states. So this some bitch gets around, or there's multiple of him.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's multiple in different styles, or if it's multiple of the same style.
What do you mean? Like there's one of each different style?
Like maybe Maryland has the bottom goat, top person with horns. Texas clearly has goat head, goat legs, Arnold Schwarzenegger middle piece. Maybe Kentucky has human bottom, human everything, but it has a goat head. You know what I mean? Like variations of it.
It could be. That could be the case. And then they're all just totally, completely separate from each other. And they're just pissed off because we keep rolling them up in the same group.
And they couldn't be anything that would procreate, right? Because then they would all look the same.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, I mean, similar. I mean, I don't think you'd go from, goat legs to human legs.
Scientifically speaking, right now is not possible. But if somehow life finds a way,
Yeah, with
um, you know,
but
bringing it back full circle. No,
you're just really
if
trying. You're
that,
trying to wrangle him in, aren't you?
I'm telling you, Jeff Goldblum,
I mean,
whatever.
I'm sure he's a nice dude. He just doesn't tickle my fancy.
So, anyway, so we're already talking about something that we have no basis in, so but let's just say that that's happening and it is then breeding. I could imagine then that it could mix whatever. So like it could have recessive genes, right? Recessive human genes that could contribute to this offspring having human legs, even if like both parents have goat legs.
They're not even from here. Not that they're alien of any sort, but
They're from like Europe.
what if they're from a weird dimension
Sure.
thing and they cross over and they're like, and I've heard stories of this from people where they're just walking in the woods and then like all of a sudden they walk out and they're like, wait a minute, this house wasn't here. I just walked through here. That wasn't here. And then they like walk a little further and all of a sudden it's almost like they just have this weird warp where they like go in a different universe and then come out the same side. And it's
Like in the
really
Blair Witch.
strange. Yeah, so well, maybe I don't know, I didn't see it. I really need to get out more. But maybe like, Goatman's just doing his thing in universe B, and all of a sudden he's like on a bridge. Oh wait, that one bridge has a portal to hell. What if he's just walking? I got too close to the portal. Ah shit. Shit. And he's like, let me back in, guys. Bob, this isn't funny anymore.
And he's got to kill so many people in order to get back to hell.
And what if it's okay? I got it. So it's demonic of some sort, right? It's clearly demonic. It's, goats and demons, and that's how everybody
Sure.
and all religious people, all ghosts all the time.
Yep.
And you ever get it's like you get the new guy, right? The new hire, and you're like, hey, I need you to go get the blinker fluid from the basement. Clearly, there's no basement, so he's just like walking, looking for it. All of a sudden, whoop! He stumbles out. He's like, ah, shit! Where am I? Clearly, I've been punked. You got me. And then, but maybe some of them were like, you know what? Fuck this place, this job. I hate you all. And then they go through the portal and then they just like haul ass to Maryland.
They're living. They go off the grid.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, can't catch me now, suckers. And so maybe it's like an escape route for some, but for some it's just like a prank. And maybe that's why he only comes out every so often because they don't get new hires every day.
True. It's hard to find good workers anymore in hell.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be like, hey, can you go look for this? And there's because
another walk off.
because yeah, can you even look? Like, can you see it? So if it's a portal to hell, one, is it a vertical portal? Is it a horizontal portal? Is it like, you're just walking all the whoop, oh shit, I'm in hell? Or is it, I can clearly see that if I go through this, it's not going to be fun? Is it an illusion where everything looks normal, but if you touch it, there was an episode of this on Twilight Zone where it was like a wall or a space under the bed and a wall, and it looked just like it was supposed to, but you could put your hand through it to get to this other, like to go through the discrete portal.
Probably there are discrete portals all around the world that we can't see until we are passing through them. And that's just based off of personal accounts that I've gotten from people that think that they may have actually fallen through them before. But then you have like,
okay, so what if it is a portal to another universe, but it's not a weird goat man coming through? What if it's literally, again, you can't see it, it's another farmer Bob, and a goat, and they're just walking and they just so happen to stumble across the portal. They accidentally go through the portal, but because the weird molecular whatever to get to the other side, it morphs him into a goat man.
That's more closely related to the fly than the scientific experiment from Maryland. Yeah, I could see that.
But it
So
could make sense. I mean, if that's
yeah,
what's happening, that could be why there's variations, because maybe
right.
because when your molecules get your whatever get ripped apart and put back together, they're probably not going to come back together all the same every single time. So what if it's just a bunch of poor fucking farmers and their poor little goats, and they're just like, oh shit, and they just come out all jumbled.
And in their universe, there's like a legend that like you could just like slip into a hole somewhere and never come
Yeah,
back.
just disappear. To them, there's some, mysterious presence or entity that if you go walking through those woods or through that field, not 420, oh dear God, 411 situation,
Yeah.
you just disappear. It's like a forest there, and they're like, well, if you go in there, you might just disappear and vanish.
I personally don't subscribe to the idea of flesh and blood goat man.
It's hard to wrap my mind around.
Yeah, that doesn't, I don't think that there's like a breeding population of goat man out there. I think that it's got to be something
That's like a good
else.
point. What about female goat? Are there goat
Right. Goat
ladies?
women.
I guess you don't follow the normal stipulations of having to wear like 8 fucking bras. Can you imagine going to Victoria's Secret? A B cup.
It costs you like $400 to put to just for one set of bras on your titties.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're all different sizes, so you
What if they're in order? They're like chronological. You have the A cup at the top, the B cup, the C cup, and then you just got like these big giant bags and you're like, you can't do anything with them. And then you could like judge and be like, well, Billy, how was it? What'd you think? Well, I thought you were about a 3-level titty on the goat lady.
so we measured tits now. Yeah, yeah,
We're going back to my theory. Maybe it's all men because most of the time the men were the shepherds. Women
sure.
didn't do that. And that's why they're all men.
Could be. That could be. Back in olden times with like satyrs and stuff, they could be women. Some could be like, but they're more like centaurs and they're more like top half of a human, lower half of an animal. But there were women,
True.
but they're not really. I mean, that's
Or like centaurs.
yeah, right. And they had, women figures. We don't in the modern day reports, again, when I picture goat man, I think of like the Bigfoot type goat man, I guess is for lack of a better term, which we don't really know. We can't.
But we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So, again, Ashley from On Wednesdays We Talk Weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, everybody, I'll put the links and information in the description so you can find her there. Everywhere, social media and everything. Make sure that you go check her out, check them out. I guess there's more than one of you. So check them out, give them some love, listen, subscribe, rate, everything. It helps everybody out and she kicks ass. So I guess that's really all I have to wrap this bitch up. And until next time, I'll see ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and rate and review the show wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show by allowing us to be found more easily when other listeners search for us. If you have a chance, head on over to www.patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy and become a patron. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shout-outs, access to the private Discord server, and video versions of episodes, both regular and members only, that are raw and unedited. So they're always a good time. As an added thank you to the Big Show patrons, we also are going to be giving out custom stickers and mini prints after 3 months of membership. I'm currently offering a 7-day free trial, so head on over and see how awesome being a member can be. Before you go, click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some of the self-designed merch, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and magnets can be found on the TeePublic site, and they have sales at least once a month. I believe it is 30 or 35% off. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly how much, but keep checking back and get them when they're discounts. They have $16 tees, and it's great. For handmade crochet items such as Nessie, Mothman, aliens, Fresno nightcrawlers, and the little ghosts or a big ghost, as well as pants, swimwear, the best tumblers I have found yet as far as merch is concerned, dresses, office supplies, and more, visit the Square merch store. You can also follow the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please don't hesitate to send them in to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experience on a special listener episode. Just make sure to specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show, and let me know whether you would like to have your real name or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you again so much for all your support, and I'll see you next time, my friend.